Hey guys, how you doing? Ron Raymond here from the Raymond Report with tip number 20 of our 30 tips in 30 days, Dog Days of Summer series. Hope you guys enjoying these tips. Can't believe we are already at tip number 20. Before we get going, don't forget, if you do enjoy these videos, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel by tapping that notification bell in the top right hand corner. And don't forget to sign up for the World Series of Handicapping Pro Football Contest season number 10, and you can sign up today. Only $25 entry. And you can win the ring and the $1,500 in cash at the worldseriesofhandicapping.com. All right, let's talk about tip number 20. And tip number 20 is this. To be the man, you got to beat the man. And what do I mean by that? It's you got to win your road games. In the NFL, college football, CFL, teams that win road games makes it much easier for them when you get in the playoffs, because they're battle tested, and in order to get battle tested, there's old Ric Flair right there, and that's where I got the idea of to be the man, you got to beat the man. And speaking of that, the Tampa Bay Warriors, they were road warriors last year. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers won every playoff game except for the Super Bowl on the road. In fact, game number 1, the wild card, they beat Washington in Washington 31-23. Then they went to New Orleans, beat the Saints 30-20, and then they went to Lambeau and they beat the Packers 31-26. And then we all know the rest. They won the Super Bowl at home against Kansas City, and that was really a road home game for the Bucs, because the game was at Raymond James Stadium, right? 31-9. Now, looking at the AFC and NFC conference, what I did is I went into the database, and again, when I do this video, as much as this is a tip, it's more of a fact-finding mission and bringing you just the facts, right? And the thing is, teams that win their road games, eventually, they're going to be playoff bound. And the reason I say that is because when you look at the 3 categories, division, non-division, and non-conference, they all have some element of importance to them, right? You win the division, you're going to the playoffs. You don't win the division, you better win your non-division game, because if you do, then you have a good shot of getting the wild card. And if you don't win the division, you don't win your non-division road games, well, then you're not going anywhere, and you're just playing non-conference games for exhibition reasons, right? But looking at the best road teams last year per conference, you can see here the AFC West were the only one in the division that had a winning record of 51%. AFC East had a 40% win percentage, 43% for the AFC North, and 43% for the AFC South. And when you look at the NFC, you had 2 of them. You had the NFC South, 52%, also NFC at 52%. So the NFC South and West had a 52%. They had the best division in football. And I always say, the teams in your division battle test you to be ready and battle ready for when you're going to face other opponents. And if you don't win your road games, it makes it really tough to make the playoffs and to win the Super Bowl eventually, right? So when I look at each division, there's always that Batman Robin. I always find these 2 teams in the division that will make you better. And when you look at the AFC East, you got the Patriots and Bills. AFC North, you got the Ravens and Steelers. The Browns coming up. You got the Colts and the Titans. You got the Chiefs and maybe the Chargers. You got 3 teams here who could really give the Chiefs a run. Maybe the Broncos are still a step behind. Eagles and Washington football team, they're both at 10 wins, right? But that, until they get winning records, how can you say, like, every team in the NFC East have a losing record? Look at, they got the worst division on the road this year, 36%. So it's really tough to make a case, or hey, it's like putting lipstick on a pig right here. I don't know if I can do it, but let's go on to the NFC North. 48%, surprisingly only 48%. And you look at the NFC South, 52%. You had the Saints and the Bucks, and then you got the Rams and the Seahawks. In fact, the best team in the NFC with the best road record was the New Orleans Saints at 83%, and then followed by Seattle at 63%. And the best road team in the AFC, obviously, is the Kansas City Chiefs, and the second best road team was the Baltimore Ravens at 69%. Now, going back to the division, you got to win your division games. Of all 4 divisions, the AFC East, only 1 division had a winning percentage. Look at that. 61% AFC teams had a winning record. In fact, only 2 teams had a winning record, but that Kansas City 100% really brings up the old division, right? But look at the non-division games. 35, 46, 42, 49. Not one team had a winning record. And when you look down here, it's only the NFC West at 54%. And then the non-conference. Now, this was a little surprising. When I did the research, AFC teams facing non-conference opponents, so the AFC versus NFC teams, all had winning record except the NFC West, AFC West. Look at that, 39%. So even Kansas City was 4-3 against non-conference teams. And then you look at the records here for the other teams. The team with the best record was the Baltimore Ravens against non-conference opponents on the road. Now keep in mind, on the road, and it was 83%. Now looking at the NFC conference, a little different. It was completely the opposite. In fact, not one team in the National Conference, NFC, had a winning record against AFC teams. In fact, look at that, 33%, 46, 42, and 48.2. And that was a bit surprising when I did the research on this, right? But again, going back to when you're going to handicap your games and you're saying, okay, you got Green Bay up against, the Buffalo Bills, right? So you got a non-conference game. You go look at Green Bay and you say, what did Green Bay do last year against a 33%? And Buffalo, how did the Bills did? 4-2. So a bit of an edge there when you're doing your handicapping, and it's an indicator. And the more indicators you string along, the more you have confidence in that selection, right? And what you see here at the end is I averaged up the road victory percentage, the division, the non-conference, and the non-conference, and you can see that the AFC West had the best average rate here at 50%. And when you look down here, the tie between NFC South and NFC West, and that gives me an indication how strong this division is. And look who won the Super Bowl, right? So again, when you're doing your handicapping, and take the importance of NFC division games or AFC NFC division game, non-division games, and non-conference game, and when you look at the away records. So what I did is I went to the database and I said, okay, where can I find value? Where is the value? And what I did is all the away teams versus division opponents, the record was 49%. Away teams versus non-division opponents, 44%. And away favorites versus non-conference opponents, 44%. But as soon as you add the favorite tag, so teams that are on the road and they're favorites against division opponents, 72%. Versus non-division opponents, 62%, and then versus non-conference opponents, favorites, 69%. So let's say Green Bay is facing the Miami Dolphins. Then if the Green Bay's favorite, that falls into that category of this role of away favorites versus non-conference foes, winning at 69%. And one of my theories that I try to always look at, if I believe a team can win straight up, then I like them to cover the spread as well, right? And if that factor proves right, then I'll have a 69% chance of winning and covering. But always remember, take a look at the line and the money line, and if the money line is something that you could swallow by laying like 160, 170, you do it in baseball and hockey. Why wouldn't you do it in football, right? All right. To be the man, you got to beat the man, and that means you got to win road games, either division, non-division, or non-conference. And again, not much of a, I guess you can say the tip, but more of a fact-finding mission, because we're always wondering, non-conference game, division games, non-conference, where's the edge? Where can I find some edge? And again, this was based on a 3-year range. And the reason why I did 3 years is because the core group of players are normally intact, right? In every 3 years, you're probably losing maybe 25% of your team, and that's why I use that range. All right, if you have any questions, just post it in the comment. Again, something to make you go and wonder, and this way, when you're doing your handicapping this year, or if you're placing a futures wager, have this in mind. Look for those road warriors and see who could be the next Tampa Bay for the 2021 season. As always, shop for value, play those percentages, and just remember, as the Nature Boy would say, to be the man, you gotta beat the man. Woo!